afternoon session that we've given the title Publish, Don't Perish. With us we have Professor Juan Carlos Riofrio joining us all the way from Nairobi.
Yeah.
I'm actually in Mombasa. That's why I'm saying all the way from Nairobi. But the advantage of modern technologies is, yeah, we can meet from wherever, right? So so what I'd like to do is just before I allow the guest to introduce himself, I will start recording. So I hope you don't mind. Some people have requested that this be recorded. And if I'm not mistaken, it actually is recording. Yes, it should be recording. At least it's recording on the side of Professor Riofrio as a co-host. Yes, okay, great. So I think it is 2:31, and without further ado, I introduce to you Professor Juan Carlos Riofrio. Before he gives you his profile, let me just say what started this off. So some of you know I got my PhD less than a year ago. And before long, I already began to feel the pressure of publish or perish. Because, yeah, just when you look around the internet and see other PhD holders, what you would consider to be your peers, one thing that stands out is just how much they've published and how much they've started and continued influencing the world of academia long after they finished their PhDs. That kind of inspired me. I wrote a book. I wrote a book 4 months after my PhD. It's called Dare to Grow, a short guide for new lecturers. And in it, I actually do insist on the need to, on the one hand, be very much in touch with the industry so that you can be of value to your students and also to the industry by giving them the benefit of somebody who has the leisure to investigate some of these issues happening in the world a bit more deeply and give deeper insights. So creating synergies between academia and industry, but also creating a rich life within academia itself, pushing the conversation forward amongst this community of thinkers. And that can't happen if there's nothing to converse about. And that thing that we converse about is what has been published, what has been put out there under the scrutiny of people who we don't want to create an echo chamber. So people who don't think like you, people who are actually willing to challenge what your thoughts are about a topic and help to move the conversation forward. So that was the genesis of this, and Professor Riofrio was so gracious to open the tutorial, not just to me, because I asked him, hey, Juan Carlos, help me. I said, okay, why not help everyone? Efficiency. And I'm so happy that he suggested that, because so many people will benefit from this. All right, so I've done my 2 minutes of talking, and now I hand over to Professor Riofrio. Juan Carlos, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much, Johan, for the kind introduction and explanation. What is this for? I was checking, I gave time ago one lecture about this kind of things, precisely 2 years ago and 2 days. Was incredible because I signed a document. So I want to share also this time this document that was PowerPoint presentation that was a bit improved.
I wish you a wonderful day. Blessed.
Sorry, as you're logging in, please make sure you're unmuted.
Yeah.
Thank you. Don't worry, Juan Carlos, I'll control that in the background. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I was exactly controlling that. Perfect. So, yeah, it's just to share a bit of my experience. Not much, but well, I have published some articles, books, and chapters, as you have seen in the flyer. So this is just to share the good experience and bad experiences that I have in the past related to research. So I wanted to give you a book, and if you want to ask for the presentation, it will be fully available for everyone. So it's a book. Today we will read a book with this index, how to create your researcher CV. So that is interesting. Probably I will go very fast in this part because it's just to know 2-3 ideas that can help you to develop your career as a researcher. So an introduction to the rankings, that would be interesting to know what will be interesting, in which place we can publish, how to write a bit an article or a book or whatever you want. So I hope that, okay. And finally, where to publish your paper. That is more the structure of the thing that we have to see. And I will give you some recommendations in each one. Let's begin with the first part, how to create your researcher CV. That is very interesting because there are many places in which you can post. No? It will give you visibility, and it will give you also an idea of what kind of things can help to promote your career. Is for these 2 reasons, no? Because little by little, I don't know what happened with you, but it happened to me that I discovered many times, no, that I have to include this in the CV, for example, conferences, classes that I gave, so many information that could be interesting. Where do you can publish your CV? Obviously, in the social media, no? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, blogs, podcasts. That is very interesting. I mean, obviously, these are not academic websites, but can help to publish, to distribute, to share your content. You have spent, for example, in an article, 6 months. No? So you want to distribute them, the idea that you had in that article, as much as you can. Because if you spend your whole life writing a book and nobody reads that book, well, what a pity, no? There are many other places that are very specific for researchers. So one of them is ORCID. You know probably what is the ORCID number, but it's also a place where they retrieve the data from internet and upload your content and distribute to some places. That could be interesting to know. Google Scholar does the same. So it's not, at least they put the titles, no? The titles, many times a link. So it's 2 things, no? No, it's not just to rank you, not just to show what is your content, but it's many things, Google Scholar. The same thing with Scopus Authors ID and with the Publons, no? This is the Web of Science. So that is very interesting to create a profile there. I will say in all of them, because you will gain visibility. No? There was a question that was there, just put me in a message, and yeah, it's better this place or this other. I will try to have everything. In this way, you will gain visibility with your articles. So if you publish one, well, it will appear in many other places, and the chances that you will be read and cited are increased. So that is interesting. And finally, there are some specific websites for different professions. I know a bit more the profession of law. So Hein Online is an incredible database of not just articles. I see that there are so many lawyers of the School of Law here, Yeah, so we probably know Hen Online. But what is interesting is that you can also create your own CV and your own profile into that platform. And it will be good if you have published any articles. So all the articles will be attached to your name there. So then there are others that are just to upload content. You yourself upload your content there. It will promote you. So the one of the most famous ones is academia.edu. There are two versions. You can pay about $100 each year. I have paid for 2 years. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I didn't renew the subscription. It seems to me that they will promote the articles that you uploaded, but not much. I mean, in any case, it will give you another kind of website. So now I don't recommend paying that. In the past, perhaps, but the premium service, you will be able to also include the people that are citing you. But yeah, and especially if you are at the beginning of the career, I will say it makes no sense to pay anything there. But it's good to have the place, the academia.edu. It's good for you and for the university. If you say that you are part from this university, Strathmore, all the publication that you will put in these places also will count for the university, and the university will be better ranked. So that is interesting. The same with ResearchGate. I have in academia, in ResearchGate, in SSRN. This is just for lawyers, yeah, and social sciences, I will say. You upload there your content. The last one has a kind of peer review, a very small peer review, very fast. But yeah. So yeah. So that is good to know. So you have many places, no? In the past, you have also BPress. Now it's no longer online. So it shut it down time ago. And there are other places to share content. For example, YouTube channels, slideshare.com, or Wikipedia. So I would recommend, if you want citations, Wikipedia. If you write about something specific and you think that that is a good idea, you can develop the articles that are uploaded in Wikipedia. Anyone can do that, by the way. With you just register, or even without registration, you can upload content in Wikipedia. That is the first idea. And you say this idea appears in this article. Well, and the people that are trying to understand that topic will see that this is your article, and probably, if that is a good idea, you will get visibility and more citations. I will say that is a good idea. With some articles, I have created a small video or shared in the thing that I say in my lectures, and they will get some diffusion. I will say people will see and more or less will follow. Time ago, I shared so many PowerPoints, but not now. It's not so famous as in the past. Slide share. Okay, so that is about where to put the content. You will realize in these websites you have many possibilities, conferences, opinion pieces, many other things. So it's good to have all of them in mind to think how your CV will be. Yeah, because normally it's the typical things that you have to put in your academic CV. Second part, an introduction to the journal's rankings. So
I'm sorry, Juan Carlos,
yes.
would you like us to ask questions in between the parts or to ask at the end?
Anytime. Feel free to ask anything. on the spot, or at the end, whatever you want. I'm very open.
So yeah, maybe at this juncture, I would ask if anyone has a pressing question, they can raise their hand and unmute and ask. As maybe people are thinking, I just want to remark that I'm surprised about the Wikipedia part. I would not have. In fact, yes, there's a question from Dr. Esther Kingori about please explain the Wikipedia bit a little more. Because I think maybe we are victims of our own demonization of Wikipedia. We get so upset when we see students just copy pasted from Wikipedia, and yet maybe it doesn't mean that Wikipedia is bad. It's just that maybe we've dealt with it, we've looked at it as an enemy to academic integrity, and yet here you are telling us that we should be big contributors to Wikipedia. So yeah, just explain a bit more how you go about the Wikipedia content creation. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for the question. So yeah, we know that there are some issues with the Wikipedia. I will say that at the same time is one of the most visited websites, and it's one of the most visited because people, when they want to know something, they will retrieve data, will go immediately, and the first options normally will be those words or topics that have a lot of traffic, that many people have checked. So yeah, I mean, if you realize the traffic, the most important traffic on internet will be not good sites, Google, Facebook, Instagram, and I think that after that, or soon after that, Wikipedia. So the level of influence of Wikipedia is huge.
Yeah.
One of the most important guys, the most influential guys in the world, the 20 most influential guys, have wrote about the fourth part of Wikipedia. He just spent the whole day including new voices and things in Wikipedia. So yeah, that is very interesting. Now, what is the relation with this? That normally researchers, also the first source could be that if they know or don't, because normally artificial intelligence like ChatGPT, BART, well, now Gemini and these kind of things, they use the content that is there. So if you put there, you will have a lot of. So you don't create your profile. You just upload good content. You help Wikipedia, and they will track you also. If you link your article in the footnotes. Huh? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. In fact, I like the fact that you've mentioned artificial intelligence and how what it does is to scour the internet for the most cited, the most visited, the most statistically relevant information, and then just compile it for you. And if Wikipedia is one of those places, one of those hubs of content, then it's good to be there so that AI can pick from you. At least you're adding to the pool of people who are putting valuable content, hoping that the people in this forum are the kind that produce valuable content. And I'm pretty sure they are, but maybe it remains in their computers. Yeah, so thank you for that. And I think, okay, that was one question, and it's kind of warmed us up nicely. So maybe we can, now you can continue with the presentation. In the meantime, I will try to see if I can put the setting that mutes all participants upon entry.
Okay.
I have done that, yes. So any new participant who comes in will not be disruptive, hopefully. All right, so thank you. And yeah, over to you for the second point.
Perfect. So now it's important to see which journals could be interesting to publish, to choose them for our publications. And so, first idea perhaps here, there are two ways of writing an article. The first way is you have an incredible idea or a topic in which one you want to check what is happening, and you dedicate some months to write that article, and then you try to find a journal to publish that. Yeah, that is possible. It's the normal thing that I do, but I know very good professors in the United States that they do normally the other way around. What is the other way around? They just Google or check what journals are asking for. And for example, is a very good journal says this, for example, this issue, this volume, we will dedicate to in religious freedoms to dress codes. Dress codes all over the world, the standards of dress. I remember that happened. Well, I didn't have any article, I was not interested. But the chances to be accepted in the best journals of the world increased so much because you produce something that they are wanting. Yeah, so my recommendation is now, unless you have a very clear project in your life, try to find first a very good journal and check what is the topic of the next issue. So you will write in the best journals. That will give you more reputation. Just one article in a great journal is like publishing 20 articles in other places. So that is very interesting. Even you will have readers much more than any other journal. I mean, so now it's important to distinguish rankings from other things, from databases, repositories, or lists of approved journals. So we have many things on internet. It's good to differentiate all of them. For example, databases is Hein Online for the lawyers. It's a set of articles, journals. All of the most important legal journals are there in Hein Online, from the Harvard Law Review, and I will say the Strathmore Law Journal Review, and many other things. More or less the same is ProQuest, Dialnet, Vilex, and Hein Online for law. The others are for many other things. They will include the content that you publish in the journals also in their databases. So this is one thing. It will give you just visibility to your article. Then, quite different thing is a list of approved journals. For example, in Latindex, you need to fulfill 32 requirements to be included in that list. It's not just you just copy paste. No, you just must do some work and they will upload. The first one are more commercial, most of them. The seconds are more academic, I will say. They will put you a seal saying, well, you fulfill this standard, you have the right to be here. So the editors of the journals, normally they will try to include in many of these lists of approved journals. So to certify the quality of the journal, more or less is the idea, no? Now, every country is creating their own list because the academia of the country requires that. You cannot be promoted if you are not publishing in these journals. And that began in Europe and was immediately extended to other places, and now is beginning this trend here in Africa. South Africa has their own list of approved journals. If you don't publish there, and you publish in a beautiful journal, well, it will not have any impact in your promotion as a professor or whatever you want as a lecturer, no? I think that soon it will come here to Kenya, the list of approved journals in Kenya. Just a few years ago was approved the list of approved journals in my country. They will use at the beginning, many times not a national list, but for example, Latindex. Many countries are using in Latin America this list. Be aware of that, because perhaps you will publish things that cannot help you in the promotion of your career. So, but now here in Kenya, I don't think that there is anything, but soon it will be, you will see. Then there are rankings. Now it's not just to be included or not to be or not. The rankings are special, no? They will put you points. Each journal will have some points. So there will be the top one, the Q1, the first quartile, the first 40%, well, 25% of the list is the Q1. And the last one is the last 25% of that rank. So that is interesting. That is very interesting to know. For example, there are Scopus is there. This is the most famous list. Well, also EC, International Scientific Index, of Web of Science, also, and emerging source of citations. So Scopus, I don't know now, but could be between 10,000 and 15,000 journals. The second one is International Scientific Index. Indexing, it could be, yeah, could be 5,000 journals, so it's more prestigious and they require more things. And the emerging source citations index will have even more, of 30,000, something like that, journals. So if you publish in the last three ones, I mean, you for sure will be accepted, that article, anywhere in the world, in any country. So, and the articles that are accepted now to promote the university in the rankings are all of them rankings of the Web of Science. So be aware, the Scopus also is related, no? But so it's here. So be aware, because that is interesting. If you really want to think in the long term, not just what is happening right now in the legislation, in the rules of every university, think to publish in at least in these three, the last three, that it will help you in the long run to promote yourself. I will show you, yeah, let me show you. Well, this is the impact factor. They will put the H index, probably you know what is an expert survey, and other metrics. They will check every journal, many things. No, the most important one is how many citations each author and each journal has. H index is a kind of relation between citations and publication. For example, I have 100 citations, but just I published just one article, I will have a good H index. But if I have 100 citations and I publish 100 articles, it will be lower. So, well, sometimes they use expert surveys and other metrics. So, and they see also how long the journal have been available for everyone. Perhaps at this point, I can share you another thing that could be interesting for you. So let me try to find.
Yeah. In fact, Juan Carlos, I wanted to ask if you could just walk us through how you publish something in on Scopus.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, you're probably about to do that right now. I'll give us some other tips.
Yeah.
So.
First, it's important to know which journals are in Scopus. And so you go to the website of Scopus and you can see. But many times it could be another in the other indexes that I showed. So you put, for example, here the name of the journal or the topic. You can also put the topic in this place, and it will tell you this is in emerging, but it's not in Scopus. I was the editor of this one. This is a good presentation. I got that journal when it has 3 points and now has 9.6 points. So because it is in many places, as you can see. So you can also put here the topics. This is a way to know where to publish. No? So for example, I don't know, bioethics. There should be many probably related to bioethics. Yeah, so you check one by one which one is in Scopus or not. That is one way. Another way is using this. This is the list of journals of Spain. Spain will put, for example, I put Strathmore. Let's see if I have never put here Strathmore. No, it's not here. If I put yeah, I will have many, and you can see that some of Harvard are not well ranking there in social sciences because of other things. Yeah, others that if you have an A, so about Harvard Civil Rights Liberties, probably is you have is so complicated to publish there, and at the same time it will give you an incredible reputation, So A plus or A plus or B is okay. I will say also now B is so. I will recommend this. And let me see. And now, if you are a lawyer, there is a ranking just for legal journals, and you have here this. This is created by William Lee or something, Washington and Lee University. And you put the subject, for example, let me see. I wanted to, no, arts, entertainment, and you can show me this amount, or you can put many things there, no? And it will give you the number of points for each journal. The only journal that has 100 points is the Harvard Law Review. So now you can see what is the best one in that topic in the world. No? That is interesting. I was able to publish in Vanderbilt Journal of Entertainment and Technology when it was the first one. Now it's the second one. Yeah, so it was a challenge. I mean.
Okay, so Juan Carlos, that means that all the things you're showing us seem to be aligned to the second way of writing articles, meaning that you look for a topic of interest out there that people are already bubbling about. You write something, but you don't just write it and put it on your Wikipedia page, but you look for the best journal. And once it's on that journal, it will be picked up immediately by Scopus, by ISI and all those people. So it's not that, from what I've understood, it's not that you submit an article to these things. I mean, you can't upload an article on Google Scholar, can you? Or is it that Google Scholar looks for you and finds you because you happen to be in the Harvard Law Review? How does that work?
Yeah, Google Scholar, you don't have to do anything but just one thing, to create your profile. And then automatically it will retrieve from internet the articles that you publish, normally with 1 or 2 days of delay. according to my experience. But you can also realize that many times it doesn't appear, so you can also upload them manually. That is interesting.
Oh, okay.
You have the two
But that's only
possibilities.
Google Scholar.
That is
That's
only
not
Google
on
Scholar. Yeah, the others.
Scopus, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, no. Yeah, and so the others will be different. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And actually, I think it kind of, from my little experience podcasting, it's kind of what happens when you put a podcast episode on Anchor, for instance. Now it's called Spotify for podcasters. Other platforms begin to recognize you and pick you up and put you on their rankings or on their playlists as well, depending on how fast you're being listened to. So I guess, yeah, it's enough to be in the right place at the right time with the right topic, and the search engines and rankings will automatically recognize your presence and put you, increase your visibility, if I've understood correctly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sure.
Great. Sure. Now we are about to enter part 3. Maybe someone has a question. If you have a question, just unmute and ask away.
Yeah, for sure. I'll drop
Normally, I give my students 7 seconds. If within 7 seconds, no one has said anything, then that means we can move on.
At any point, you can also drop the question in the chat. No?
Yes, feel free to do so.
The chat open to see if anyone is writing anything. Okay, fantastic.
Okay, great. No questions, so let's move on. Right, thank you.
Okay, so the third part is dedicated what to write and how. No? Obviously, that will be just 2-3 ideas. No, perhaps we begin with this. No, an empty book, an empty notebook. What to write? No, well, first we have the 2 ways. No, try to find what are the good journals asking for, or if you have a great idea, let's dedicate time. No? I have published articles that, I have wrote articles in less than 4 days, and I will say in good journals, more or less, but in the very good journals that are the top of the world, at least you require 6 months, I will say, and many times of auditions and this kind of thing. No? So I have published in all kind of journals. No? And if you publish in the best ones, it will help you a lot in your career, I will say. And also you will get more publications. So first, to have an idea, no, cannot be a rocket to the moon. Yeah, you have. If you want to go to the moon, well, you have to put a lot of precision. So, yeah, try to focus in a very specific topic and write about that as best as you can. So I will say that is the first idea. The second idea is from Aquinas. No? Aquinas once wrote about 16 tips, we will say today, for acquiring knowledge. No? You can check on internet, all of them are there. But this very interesting that, no? Obviously, the dedicating time could be the first idea, no? Because you cannot go directly to the very complicated things, but without passing the most simple things, no? It's like the university, just explain the very basic concepts first, and then little by little you can address the most difficult issues of the subject. Yeah, let's say, no, by rivulets, immediately into the sea, we chose to enter because by the easier we must come to the more difficult. Yeah, so don't speak so much. That is an advice of a monk. Yeah, well, yeah, study more. No? I will say honesty is so important. Intellectual honesty is so important. I mean, especially in some fields, no? In math and these kind of things, it's difficult to lie. You can lie, but it's a bit more difficult. But in law and science, well, it's so easy first to lie ourselves and then to cheat others, no? So it's so important. If we have a doubt that that is not true, just the doubt, we'll have to dedicate time to clarify that notion. Yeah, so I will say another way. I have been in many conferences in which I got many good ideas from people that think absolutely different from myself. No, it's good, yeah, at least to treat them in an amicable way, in a friendly way, but not just that, but also hearing, no, hearing, and especially the most famous authors. No, if they were famous, it's because they got one idea, perhaps mixed with very bad ideas. Yeah, I will say that that is important. No? Well, I will not stop in all of them, but I will say that all of them are very important, but resolve each of your doubts is so important, so important. Many times the trend is the contrary, you know. If someone asks you for something, you have to give an answer. No, don't give an answer. Try to meditate, to reflect, and to see first if you have a clarity to answer. No, you cannot give light if you don't have light. You have just darkness. No, so that is, and it means time. It means time. I mean, to solve things, to check twice, to get the evidence. And if you publish in the best journals of the world, they will check every single word, every single word. If you publish in other regular journals, no. I remember, for example, my last article, they checked page by page all my citations, and they told me, no, this is not cited like that. One small citation of 3 words. I was amazed. This American, that was an American journal, really serious, no? So be aware. So try to solve all of your doubts. Well, just an advice of Leonardo Polo, no? Philosophy is a collective task, no? So that's why we have to check all the authors that I mean, the most important ones. What did they say about this? Well, let's try to read, because it's so difficult to be original. I mean, probably what we think that is the most important idea that I discovered, so many people have said that and better, you know. So it's so important. Only when you finish that, knowing the state of art, you know, you will be able to give something to the community, something new. And that is the notion of university. Leonardo Polo said that also, no? That is the difference between a university and a high school. It's not a high school. Yet university is universal, will bring new knowledge, it's cutting the edge, no, of science. So if you don't bring anything new, this is not a university, it's a high school, more or less, no? Well, I will not stop on all those kind of things. So first, it's important, well, some rules about the form could be interesting. The title, the first thing that appears in your mind, and the last thing that you will change when you write an article. So that is interesting. There are some rules, I mean, depending on the style. In APA is 12 words, in other 18, others don't have. Some journals will, it doesn't matter. The number of keywords, no? Between 3, 8, 8. Each journal will have their own rules, no? So there are many ways of trying to find the keywords. Some journals will ask you for checking a list. They will use the list of the UNESCO, and you have to check just from there, or related to your topic, or don't duplicate with the title. Even others will say, no, you try to put the same of the title to get more things. So it depends on which journal. Be specific, I will say, and test your keywords. You can also put the keywords on Google and to check how much people are writing about them, with which words. Perhaps they are using different words, I will say. So this is for the last one. Many people spend a lot of time at the beginning, and they will change everything after finishing the article. Why? Because perhaps you were thinking in this journal, and that journal rejected, or not, you realize that I can publish in a better journal. So, and every journal will have their own rules. So my recommendation is not to be so attached to the style of citation, bibliography, and these kind of things till the end. First, just write your article as you want, and then you realize I can publish this and article here, and then you will know how to write that article. And you just check it again, rewrite what you need to write again. So the same with the abstract, the number of words. So normally between 150 and 300 words. It depends also many times of the style. You have more or less like this. No, I have seen other journals that they will ask just 50 words. I didn't know what to do just with 50 words. That was an recent article. And some others will ask for a structural abstract. No, so what is a structural abstract? Nobody knows, to be honest. But in one of the indexes, Copernicus, they explain what is structural abstract for them. So it says the guidelines of Copernicus will say, well, just put the aim of the paper, the methodology that you have used, the structure of your argument. I will talk about this topic, the aim of the paper or the article, and I will argue in this way. First, I will give this an idea, I will compare with this author, and so on. Can you see? Perfect. And the principal conclusion in 1-2 lines. I will say that is the first part, is the most important part, the aim of the paper, 1 or 2 lines. That is essential, I will say. That is essential. If you're not able to explain what is your topic in 2 lines, you don't have clarity of what is your article. You have to say, my article is about 2 lines, done. If you spend 1 hour explaining what is about your article, you have no idea of what are you writing about. I mean, probably you have a notion of the topic, you know so much in the subject, but that is not an article, and that will have issues in your research. So I see that there is a question in the chat. So
yeah, I don't know if you wanted to just finish this part before you start taking questions.
Fantastic. Okay, yeah. Fantastic. I will. So that is, I think that is very important. Normally, I supervise some theses, doctoral theses, and master dissertations, and also undergraduate dissertations. And I asked them, can you explain me your topic in 2 lines? And you discover immediately if the guy is just trying to write something or is properly a researcher. So that is very important. 10 tips for writing a persuasive article. Well, how do you decide which movie you want to see? Well, probably you see first the trailer. Yeah, this abstract does exactly the same. The first possibility that you have to engage the reader. So there are many tips on internet how to write a good article. If the topic is really important, you follow the structure that I gave you. If you need to convince the author, probably there are many other things. But be clear, follow the structure of your paper, include the most significant findings, is also the main finding, the main conclusion. Well, don't use abbreviations or in a way that anyone can read. Probably in these indexes, repositories, things, most of them, they will just upload the title, the abstract, and the keywords. So, and most of the people will just read that. That is why it's so important to dedicate time at the end, after writing everything, to the abstract. That is interesting. I will not read all of them. If you want the presentation, I can share it with you. Okay, so the last part, where to publish.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So before we move to the last part, yeah, there are a couple of questions on the chat. Yes. Who says, let's see. So it says, I've already graduated from undergrad, but I'm trying to build a good research profile to get into a good postgraduate school. Do you have any advice for a person who is not affiliated with any academic institution or research organization, but wants to publish papers in reputable journals? Now, that's a good question. So yeah, so you're no longer students. You're out there in the world, and you want to be recognized as an academician, or at least an aspiring one, so that you can be admitted into some of these halls of academic excellence. What would you advise?
So you have many possibilities. First, to try to find a good journal for students, not for scholars. That is one possibility. Second possibility, you publish a paper with your professor. So you sign with the professor. No? That is a good, probably the best possibility if you are beginning writing articles, because you will learn so many things that probably you think that you know everything, but no, there are many things that a guy that has published so much will know. Then also, I will say it's so easy to get engaged with a research center. So you can, I don't know, at the Strathmore University, there are many. So you can say that you're part of this. No? And finally, for the lawyers, if you are studying law, for example, probably you must know that there are many journals of undergraduates, graduates, but the students of law in the United States, because it's a graduate. So most of the time you have the possibility to publish in very good journals in the United States that are journals of the students, but students of law are graduates there in any case. You are more or less in the same position, not exactly, but that can help. Okay. Any other question?
Great. That was a very good one. This is a technical question. Somebody is asking if the slides would be made available.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Drop me an email, or I can share with you, and you share with anyone that wants to.
Yeah.
To have them. Okay.
Yeah. I think the person who asked is from my school. So, and I think if maybe later we can discuss, it would be nice if we give a link to all of this this wonderful presentation, the video, your recording, and the slides to our school's websites, or at least our social media pages. At least we can have a link to that, but those are technicalities we'll discuss later. Yeah, so I don't think there are any other questions, at least not on the chat. So maybe we can move on now to the fourth part, so that we start winding up. And yeah, so over to you once again,
Thank you so
Professor
much.
Juan Carlos Riofrio.
Where to publish? That is interesting. Well, I already mentioned how to find a good journal, no? So choose the best journal, I will say the same thing that I have showed, because it will give you visibility to your article, no? The problem with the good journals, especially in the past, not that much today, is that first, some of them you have to pay. I sent an article and you have to pay. That is very common in medicine, in law, human sciences and social sciences, not that much humanities. But in this journal, they were asking for $900 or after accepting the paper. Fortunately, they didn't accept because they had a very different view. I mean, a bit communist. Yeah, but in any case, and many others, it will be just not available for everyone. So, for example, in the journals of Oxford, of Cambridge, many times, not always, if you want to put this article for free, you have to pay more than $2,000, $2,400. So to be to put available to everyone. So at least I want visibility, and that's why I will find journals. I will try to find journals that are open access to everyone. No, you have also good ones everywhere in the world. So you have the two possibilities. Try to see if they will put your article for everyone, or people must pay to check that article. So well, try to see what are the requirements of your School of Law here at the Strathmore University. Each school will have their own requirements. That is a bit crazy. So I wrote the policies for the law school. So let me show you more or less how they look. Policies for publication. Well, what I wrote was a proposal. Probably it will be. So I will answer another of your questions, Johan, here. So I hope that you can see more or less, okay, this.
Yeah.
So I put the rankings more or less, and if you publish in Scopus and you are Q4, Q2, I already explained at the top of the list or at the end, or let me see, near, if you have 9 points or 10, well, you will be high reputable and top in international journals in the world. I told you that this list is the most important one because they have not so many, just the best of the best, and that's why even a Q3 is a high reputable journal. So, and here about points, you can see. So this is in the law school. I know that the business school is a different policy. In the humanities, I think that you don't have any of these kind of things. You just publish everywhere and you will get points, but things for sure will change. So what is interesting here...
Don't say that loudly.
You will
Don't
see.
say that loudly. If our head of research is conspicuously missing from this event,
okay.
But we shall take notes.
So what is best, to publish a book or to publish in a journal or a chapter? I will say it depends, because you can publish in the Harvard Law Press or Cambridge University Press, and that will be much better than 100 articles in other places. Can you see? So that's why at least we differentiate non-reputable and reputable publishers. And so if that is a chapter of a book, you just will get 1 point. It's so easy, a chapter. I have 20 chapters, so published in many countries. A book, well, it will not reputable. If that is a reputable, if you have top publisher, the Oxford University Press, well, that will give you. Probably we have to put a bit more here, yeah, because but nowadays the scientific articles are the most important thing that everyone will read. Just read in the chat. Okay, so so a small note is so easy. I mean, try to go for the best. You will be in another different shape. You will be a professional later after publishing just one article. In the academia of the United States, and law, if you have just one article in the Harvard Law Review, you can apply to be a professor everywhere. And it doesn't matter. You are in another dimension. Yeah. So that is to show you how important it is to publish in the best journals in the world. Well, okay. I will stop sharing here. That is just to let you know more or less how other universities are evaluating and the law school here. This. So national and international rankings matters, especially if you don't, here you don't have, but try to think, yeah, that probably something will come in some years, no? Now just South Africa, you can use that of South Africa. The requirements in Poland are very high, for example, and the quality. Try to think in the Q1 journal rankings, more or less the thing that I showed. So now think that you have your article with everything already finished and you want to publish. And you begin trying to find, no? So put a list of the 4 most important articles. Go for the first one. After the rejection, you will get a review. So you can improve one article and you will go to the second one and you will improve until you finish the list and then you do another list. But normally, yeah, it will require some. If you try to understand the reason of the reviewer, why it was rejected, yeah, you will improve that. Don't worry about these rejections. And last year I wrote about 8 articles, 2 chapters, and other things. I was rejected in 4 articles. I got the acceptance of the other 4 articles, and the chapters was so easy to publish. So, so don't be worried if someone rejects you. It will help you a lot to improve your articles and yourself as a researcher. So another possibility is you have a friend that is an editor, so you send to that friend, and normally it will be easier. Normally, you go to international conferences, many times editors with not so many articles are trying to find articles. Yeah, in this way I have published 2 or 3, 2. In a conference, someone asked me for that article. 1, 2, or 3. Even in one of Brazil, they translated one article to Portuguese of myself just for free. It's incredible. So it's good to go to international conferences. The thing that I told you, there is a call of papers for this journal in this topic. Well, probably if they put a call of papers and they distribute, probably they need articles. If they are in a Scopus, it's so difficult to publish because they will receive at least 50 proposals to publish in each issue of 10 articles. So most likely you will fail statistically. If you are in the top of the world, there can be easily, I don't know, between 50 to 100 articles, proposals, and just one will be published easily. So that is why you need to spend 6 months, 1 year in just one article to publish the most important journals of the world. And then if you have so many worries about that, try the stock market of academia, the article market. That I didn't see in any other field. That is just in law, stock market. There were two big stock markets of articles in the United States, Expresso and Scholastica. Now just Scholastica exists. The other was shut down 2 years ago. So what is that? So you upload first you create your profile, you upload your article, and then you say, this article I will send to these 20 journals. You have to pay about $5 for each journal. So they will check. The first that says, I am interested in you, will give you a proposal of acceptance. If you want to publish with this, tell us in the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, my offer will be closed. Okay, so you have 2 weeks to negotiate with the other journals to say, well, I was accepted in this and in this journal. Do you want me to accept or not? And you try to find the best possibility, and you will ask for a quick review of them. So it's a kind of market of articles. Is interesting. And the idea in America is to allocate the best articles in the best journals. More or less, that is the idea there. So yeah, I have used that 3 times, and the 3 times I got acceptance in very good journals, I will say. Yeah, but the first one I sent to 20, second one to 10, and the last one to 5, more or less. And in all of them I got acceptance. So that is interesting if you want to explore the stock market of academia. And that is the end. I will say that now, after a final words, we can talk about any question that you have. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Thank you so much, Juan Carlos, for that. Yes, and there's even a comment here from Dr. Kingorio, says open access is extremely expensive.
No, not always. I will say most of the time. I'm just reading that. Yeah.
Academic open access.
Yeah. Sorry about my connection. That is not very stable. But I will say that, most of the open access journals in most of the sciences are for free. In these journals, Cambridge, Oxford journals, many times they just publish privately, but if you want to distribute all over the world your article, you have to pay. But that's why the best is try to find a good journal that will publish for free for everyone. So you can share easily that. And normally now, most of the journals are like that. In medicine is a bit different, but I think that no one of you are studying medicine, don't you?
Yeah. Traditional medicine, maybe.
Yeah.
So I have 4 questions.
4.
Yes, 4. Two are actually people
okay.
who asked this question on their behalf. They asked through WhatsApp. The first one is time management. You know, if it takes so much effort to publish just one article in a very good journal, how do we, as researchers, manage our time, because we are caught up also with teaching and with administrative duties? So where do we make time to write? Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I'll ask the questions as first. I'll wait for the answer, and then
no, let me answer because so I will forget them. So no, I will say, yeah, I mean, for the good thing, you have to dedicate time. I mean, you have to dedicate time. Leonardo Polo said, you cannot do philosophy if you don't dedicate time to think. Just to think, just to think, just stop doing everything. Yeah, you must dedicate time for the best articles also. Now, if you're, so what is your purpose? That is the first question. If your purpose is just to be promoted in humanities, well, yes, publish in many journals, no? I will say in not the most important ones, and you can publish easily once a month, easily. I mean, yeah, I know many journals that is so easy. But if you realize that, well, it's just for, not only just for reputation, but just there's an idea that is really important to, I mean, that is the reason that I'm writing, no? I want to, for example, to put a Christian point of view here. This nobody solved this, so I know how to solve that. So I know that I have an idea for the best journal in the world. No? Yeah. So I will say that you it's worth it to dedicate time for that, no? Because that will last. That will last. The other is a publication that nobody will read you so much. Perhaps your parents, no? Your parents probably yes, and they will say that it's the most important article in the world. But yeah, so how much time? It depends what is your purpose, no? What time if I don't have time? Well, that I don't know. That is another question. Yeah, probably many times you are doing better things in other places, no? Just to put an example of the founder of Opus Dei, San Jose Maria, he said, no, how many disciples will get a good professor? No, not more than 8, not more than 5. If they get 1 or 2, it will be a success in their career as disciple. To follow the, how many disciples will get a mother or a father? Well, as many children as they have. No? So yeah, I will say it depends what is the purpose in your life. No? Next question.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you for that. So the next question is about co-authoring. Now, I didn't quite get the gist of the question. Let me see if I can find it here. How to do collaborative writing successfully. Yeah, so when you're co-authoring with someone, what are some of the challenges? What are some of the benefits? What are some of the dynamics that go into co-authoring with another person?
So, well, there are many possibilities there. But according to the, I mean, if you are with a peer, you will do more or less the same work. Always there will be someone that really will work, and the other not that much. No? Normally, if a professor has a great reputation, they will have a great idea and they will write the first draft easily, very fast, and the second one that is helping will do the part of the style, citations, and many other things. So yeah, so it seems to be that it's not so fair. The other just dedicates 2 hours and the other 100 hours, but no, I will say it is fair because the other dedicated to that, to write that article 2 hours, but to study that topic alive. I mean, many times writing is not really the time that is to understand things well. No? I have written a book in 1 week. A book, it was published and got citations. Wow. Yeah, because I was teaching that subject for several years, so it was so easy. Written is not that much, I would say, and now with ChatGPT and this kind of thing. And I have also a book that I have spent 25 years and I didn't finish. I need 3-4 years more to finish that book. So yeah, so it's not about writing properly, it's about the ideas, no? I don't know if that helps.
Yeah. No, it does help a lot. It helps a lot. And in fact, that kind of absolves my conscience because I was thinking, okay, I have some very brilliant ideas, and I like writing, but I just don't have the time to structure my articles according to the 20, 30, 50 requirements that this publication wants me to do, that make sure that every time you mention the name of somebody, it has to be in italics. Make sure that every time you cite this, it has to be in bold and that. And like, I don't have the time to comb through my entire thing to just make it fit their requirements. And if somebody else does that, in fact, that kind of leads to the question: would they be considered a co-author if I have a graduate assistant who does all the donkey work, so to speak, of making my article publishable? Does that qualify to make them a co-author?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, let me just say one thing, that I will not spend writing so much time with the style, italics, and these kind of things. Normally, that is just for the last part, and you will dedicate just a morning or the afternoon to do that. That is, but what I really spend time is reading. I mean, normally I will download all the articles. That could be some cases 50 articles, 100 articles about that topic, and then I will be in a position to say something new. So yeah, that is the thing.
Wow.
You will realize that many of these articles, you immediately know what they are talking about because they are repeating things. No? So it's not that complicated to read 100 articles, I would say. It seems that it's huge, but it's not that much. I mean, but you have to dedicate time. And second, if the graduate assistant only does a manual thing or italics and this kind of thing, it's like a secretary. No? So you don't need to put in the name. If there is a substantial contribution, you need to put him or her. Yeah, normally I would say that, yeah, it's better to include more than less. And also it gives you points if you put a co-author that is not from your university but from another, because it gives you points, and to the university too, to Strathmore, because you are doing a network research and these kind of things, and there are some rankings of universities that count that. And finally, about co-authors, in other sciences, not so much in philosophy, but in technical things, if you are alone, probably it's not the same that if you publish a paper with 2-3 guys. They will consider the cooperative work better, no? So they will give you more points and you will have more chances of publication, but not in our sciences. Okay.
In fact, kind of to a segue to that question is, okay, so you mentioned that in the law school and in the business school, you've created a sort of manual for publication. Yeah, I guess this is me making an offer. If you at some point you could help us in the School of Humanities to make our own manual.
The easy thing is that to share the thing that the
we shall approach you for that. But one thing you said, sorry?
The easiest.
Sorry, you said?
Yes. The easiest thing that we can do is to share the policies that we have.
Yeah, because law and humanities are joined at the hip, I think, and many of the things that would be valid for law would also be valid for humanities. Now, there's something you mentioned about countries that have created their own list, and they say that if you want to be considered a top scholar, then you must have published in this list. And you said that Kenya does not yet have that. And I'm wondering, and this again is just a provocation to the people listening. I think we at Strathmore should be the first institution to propose a list of journals and say that, hey, okay, in Kenya, if you want to be to call yourself a real scholar, then our standards are these. You must appear here. So that would also be a nice project to do in the future, and get there first to be the first. Now over to a question. Now a real question to you. There's a couple of weeks ago, I saw this conference on offer. I was interested more in the location that is going to happen, and that they were offering free accommodation and free. They're going to offer a stipend in a
That's
very
good.
nice place. But aside from that, they were asking for an abstract. So you've just given us tips on how to write an abstract, but my understanding is that you can do an abstract without the body, that you already have an idea. You write the abstract according to the structure you've given us, the aim, the methodology, the structure, and the principal conclusion, and you send it. And in the meantime, you start working on the article. Is that valid? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's a bit different abstracts for conferences. The abstracts for journals, never more than 300 words. The abstracts for conferences normally never under 300 words, and normally is 1,000 words. It's a bit different. So, and they know that most of the time you didn't have finished your paper most of the time. So, and probably there will be proceedings that will be published. That will be different. I mean, you will have time later. I'm going now to Spain after tomorrow for an international conference about human rights, and I sent an abstract. They say between 300 and 1,000 words, explaining an article that I wrote and that was accepted in the United States, but it's not just yet published. And they accepted me, and after that accepted me, I had to pay the fees of the conference, and this kind of thing. It's not like your conference. Tell me which one is this, by the way. So yeah. So as you can see, it's a different methodology, and they say after the conference you will have 2 months to write your article, and we will publish the proceedings in this publisher that is a good publisher in Spain, it's Dickinson. So yeah, so that is the normal way of doing things in the international conferences.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, just
I think really that was yeah.
Just one I sent. Yes. Normally in the conferences, all of them were accepted when I sent, except at Notre Dame, the United States. I sent an after, and they rejected me because they had more than almost 200 panelists, and yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, I will say that it's important at least to be on time. To be on time. Okay. I mean, if you send an article or an abstract, try to be as early as possible. Normally you will get discounts, and also you will get more chances to be accepted.
Yeah.
I sent that in just the last day.
Yeah. I think that's a Kenyan problem. We look at submission date. 5th of May. Okay, when I get some time, I'll write about it and submit it. Actually, it happened to me. The reason why I mentioned this conference in a very nice and scenic place is because when I finally sat down to write it, I went back to the poster of the conference, and I saw that I was already 2 days past the date of submission. So I was like, no. But I don't think it would have been accepted because I just honestly did not know that there's a structure that abstracts should follow. The only structure I was using was that it was no more than 500 words. Now that you've given us a structure, I'm pretty confident that the next abstract I write for a conference will have better chances. And I think it's important that we in the School of Humanities go for as many conferences as possible, because our School of Humanities is still very new, it's not well known out there. In fact, some people get surprised that Strathmore offers degrees in humanities. And so the more we interact with people from other universities, the more we get a chance to co-author and co-present or collaborate with them, then the better for us. Yeah, so thank you so much for your advice. I just want to ask the audience if they have 1 or 2 more questions before we close. We are 5 minutes to 90 minutes. Okay, so we're in the dying minutes of the game, of the match. So if anyone has a question, feel free to ask right now. You can unmute. We prefer that you unmute rather than writing on the chat. So feel free to unmute and ask. Okay.
I just want to add one thing to the international conferences. I was also in person in that conferences in which I was not accepted. And then I realized that my topic was very theoretical for that conference. So try to think also what kind of things do they expect in each conference or each journal. That would help. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I think with that, we come to the end. The mosque nearby is already reminding me it's time to go for my 4 o'clock prayers. Here in Mombasa, it's about 35 degrees. So we are binging on ice cream, binging on ice cream and cold water. So thank you so much for those of you who made time to come. I know it's not easy to get an afternoon free. And thank you most of all to you, Professor Riofrio. And yes, so in a couple of days, we'll be able to share the links to these to this session we've had. And that's it. I don't know if Professor Riofrio, you have one last thing to say, and with that we close. So over to you.
Well, not much. I would say just thank you. Very interesting questions. I think that we are learning in this way. Me too. So thank you also for inviting. I'm open to any other need that you need. I mean, just drop me an email and I will try to help you as much as I can. So have a great day.
Thank you, and safe journey to Spain, and God bless to you and to everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.